Hello there, everyone. Judge Andrew Napolitano here for Judging Freedom. Today is Friday, May 6th, 2022. It's about 11:55 in the morning here on the East Coast of the United States. Late last night, the government acknowledged that the American intelligence community was responsible for providing intelligence to Ukraine military, intelligence that resulted in the destruction of a multi-billion-dollar Russian ship that was parked in a Ukrainian port right outside of Mariupol, that formerly beautiful Ukrainian seaside city that the Russians have destroyed. And that American intelligence is also responsible for pinpointing the location of Russian generals who the Ukraine military has killed. The Russians have lost 5 generals in this 5-month war, which is a tremendous blow to their leadership when you consider the investment in the training, education, and leadership of these people. So what does all of this mean, and how risky is it? And why did the government acknowledge this? Well, the government acknowledged it because it was about to come out anyway, and it apparently is the truth. But are we now gradually being dragged into a war which the president says we're not going to get into, a war which we know with a butcher like Putin could very well end up being World War III, a war which could very well cause Putin to attack the American mainland to divert our attention from what is essentially a regional conflict in Eastern Europe. I have argued, and many of my libertarian buddies and colleagues have argued as well, we have no business being involved. Every time we send military equipment there or ship or allow them to use military equipment that's already there, which is the best way to describe it, we just postpone the inevitable, which is a Russian victory. And we assure that more innocent people, mainly Ukraine civilians and even Russian conscripts who are there because Russian law forces them to be there, will suffer and die. But now, if we're actually showing them how to aim at Russian generals, showing them the location of Russian generals, showing them where valuable Russian equipment is, you can only imagine the outrage in the Kremlin. I mean, when the United States invaded Iraq, a lot of us condemned the war as fruitless, useless, wasteful, immoral, unlawful, and unconstitutional. It was and remains all of those things. But we did have hundreds of thousands of American boys on the ground there and a few dozen generals. Can you imagine how we would have reacted if Russian intelligence helped the people in Afghanistan or in Iraq locate and assassinate our generals? You can imagine what's going through the minds of President Putin and his people in the Kremlin at this time. Joe Biden, Mr. President, this is very dangerous. This is way too close to dragging us in. I don't know if you want to drag us in. This is going to be like Vietnam, where JFK and LBJ, mainly LBJ, were slowly dragged in. Of course, the war was a disaster from a moral, constitutional, financial, legal, and political perspective. Is that what you really want to save your failing presidency, President Biden? I don't think the American people want it. There's no justification for it under the laws of war. There's no justification for it under the Constitution. And there's no justification for it using plain reason. Be careful what you do, Mr. President, because it could come back to bite innocent Americans. Judge Napolitano for Judging Freedom.